Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today I'm going to show you how to do a simple oil change on our 2007 Honda Goldwing GL1800. Pretty simple to do, just have to remove a couple of panels, but the most important thing is I need to go ahead and start it up and let it warm up for a few minutes before we start draining that oil. So let me get that done and we'll dive into it. Alright guys, this is going to be a skill level 1. I just want to caution you to be very careful when you're removing the front section not to scratch your fender. Alright, as far as the tools you're going to need, it's a fairly short list. Just a pair of needle nose pliers, 3/8 ratchet, 5mm Allen, 17mm socket, a couple of different extensions, the special 65mm oil filter wrench, and as always, a good torque wrench. Now, as far as the parts go, if you would reference our parts diagrams, they will show you exactly where that oil filter is down low on the front of the motor. Now, if your machine has got a few gears on it and missing a nut or bolt or two, that'll also show you where they're supposed to go when you go to put it back together, just in case somebody made a mistake when they reassembled it in its previous owner's life. So, once you have your parts and your tools together, we can go over there and I'll show you how to do it. So let's go. Alright, there are two covers we have to be concerned with. The first one is on this side, and this is where your dipstick / fill tube is. Right here. So we'll go ahead and remove it. And then we're going to pull this front panel, which is actually the entire section for the what they call the lower fairing. It's actually held in by 6 different Allen heads, but keep in mind when you're pulling these off, they're different types. Some of them have a little bit higher collar than others. All right, that's our first 4. And you got 2 more up high. So lay them out in order from low to high. And there's a couple of plastic rivets you can actually pull out on the top, and then they'll just pull straight out. You've got 2 more of the standard plastic rivets all the way up at the top. A little bit tricky to get to. You can pull out this upper fairing center section. You can push it out far enough to get this lower section out if you run the risk of scratching your fender. And that's what we don't want to do. So just follow the center section all the way up toward the back, and you're going to see 2 more of these plastic rivets. Now we can lift out this upper center section. There's the real trick. I've got my unit sitting on a stand with the front tire straight. To actually remove this, I need to back it up a little bit, put it on just the side stand where I can turn the wheel. Otherwise, that panel will not come out, not without damaging the bike anyway. Now we can actually see our oil filter, but we need to move 1 more panel out of the way so we can get to the drain bolt. Now I'm pretty sure this is going to be an aftermarket panel, so you probably will not have to deal with this on your particular machine. All right, now we can get to our drain plug. And actually we want to leave the unit sitting on its side stand because they actually position the drain plug toward the left side of the machine. That way most all of the oil should come out versus it sitting straight up. So we're expecting right at 4 quarts to come out, or 3.5. So be prepared for that much volume with your container. When you pull your drain plug, you want to look at the end of it because it actually has a magnet on the end that's going to catch any debris that's kind of being circulated in the engine. This one looks really good, very little what I call magnetic or metal fuzz on the end of it. But do want to make sure you at least wipe it clean before we put it back in there once it's done draining. It's almost finished draining. We'll be patient and wait on it. While it's draining, why don't we go ahead and break the oil filter loose because there's going to be some oil that comes out with it as well. There she is. Our new one. Get a little dab of oil, put it around that O-ring. We'll go ahead and pop it back on there. They don't give you a lot of room under here. Right, it's snugged down. You don't see this very often, but there is actually a torque value for this particular oil filter, and it's 19 foot-pounds. Looks like it's pretty much finished draining. Let's slide that out of the way and get our drain plug back in. The torque value on our drain plug is 25 foot-pounds. All right, now we just need to refill it, guys. But before we do that, it actually needs to be sitting straight up, either with this clamp or on its center stand. So let me bring it forward a little bit, and then we'll get it refilled. With an oil filter change, it should hold right at 4 quarts, so maybe 3.8, 3.9. I've chosen to go with a 10W40. Want to make sure you use the synthetic without moly in it. That's very important. I went with the 40 because we're in a warmer environment than most places. Now, if you're riding during the winter, or you're in a cooler environment, sub 100 degrees, sub 80 degrees, they want to go with the 30 instead. But I decided to go with the 40. What we'll do is go ahead and put in right at 3.5 quarts. We'll start it up, let it idle for a couple of minutes, then let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll actually check it. All right, here's number 4. Like I said, we're only going to put in about half of it. So let's get our dipstick back in, and we're going to crank it up. Then we can check the level and see where we are. Okay, so she's set for a couple of minutes. Let's see where we ended up. Wipe it clean, and when you're checking it, insert it without screwing it in. All right, we're not even touching the line yet, so let's add a little bit more, let it settle, and then we'll check it again. All right, it's toward the bottom. So, as Honda predicted, I think it's going to take that 3.9 or pretty close to it. And there it is. We're pretty much right in the middle of the range, so that's what I wanted. So all we need to do now is just replace that lower bracket, which you're probably not going to have on your machine, and put together the front, center, and lower fairings. And this is a little bit tricky here because we actually have to get this section behind the middle and also behind each side of the side fairings. All right, guys, we've got the center, upper, and lower fairings ready to bolt back in. I did notice some inconsistencies from one side to the other as far as the way the bolts looked, and their length and the diameter and whatnot. So I had to do a little investigating. Went back to the original exploded diagrams and found out that that top rivet was actually incorrect. It should have been another one of this type where you actually can grab it with your fingers and pop it out. The other bolt that was incorrect, there's 4 at the bottom of the lower fairing that it should have all been the same size. There's this one oddball, not sure where it came, but I can tell you this much, it's not going back on there. So I've got the correct bolts. Let's start with the lower fairing. Now typically, I just put them down hand tight, back off about maybe a quarter of a turn. That way you can still move it around just a little bit to get the other ones to line up correctly. Head back over to this side and go for the same one. Now, let's take our new correct bolt and get it back over here. And hit the same one on the other side. Next, let's grab this one with a really long shoulder for that upper section that actually goes through the upper part and the lower fairing. Hence why it's so much longer than the other ones. All right, we're about to go dead center here and here with the plastic rivets, and then the other set of rivets go all the way up. So you have to get it inserted all the way, then lock it. Now we just need to do the other side. And now it's locked. All right, make sure your dipstick tube is tightened down, and now there's only one more panel to put back on. Now you'll notice, of course, this little section right here needs to line up with that. So what you need to do is go in a little bit of an angle, get it to push on there, got it down, and now push it in. And that's it. Well, all right, guys, that pretty much wraps this one up. Well, listen, if you need any parts for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. Have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Till next time, we just want to say thank you for shopping at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video.